Good day, good morning, good evening. This is YieldMaxMindset coming to you here with RoundHill week number 1 for the weekly payers dividends. All right, let's get to it. All right, so we got Rec Shares, Defiance ETFs, we got NEOS Funds, we got Curve Invest, we got RoundHill Investment, we got Granite Shares, we got Pro Shares, we got YieldMax ETF, and we got Bitwise. All right, these are different ETF that you may invest and figure out what strategy best suit your investments. All right, let's get to it. These prices are going to vary each month. If you should happen to own some of the above ETF, here's a roundabout payout you should receive. Below is what you will get paid out for owning the number of shares multiplied by the price per share. All right, first up is AAPW. Closed yesterday at 42. All right, so yes, it closed yesterday at 42.99. Previously closed at 42.91. Previously paid out 26 cents. Currently paying out, guess what? 27 cents. All right, so had you invested $2,145.50 into that position, that would have got you 50 shares. 50 shares would have gotten you $13.56. Next, we got AMDW. Closed at 53.83. Previously closed at 53.72. Previously closed out paid out 27 cents. Currently paying out 76 cents. All right. All right. No, 78 cents. All right. My bad. All right. So had you invested $2,686 into that position, that would have gotten you 50 shares, and 50 shares would have gotten you a payment of $38.78. Next, we got ARMW. Closed yesterday at 38.32. Previously closed at 36.35. Previously paid out 38 cents. Currently paying out 51 cents. So had you invested $3,635 into that position, that would have gotten you 100 shares. 100 shares would have gotten you a payment of $50.88. Next, we got AMZW. Closed yesterday at 43.57. Previously closed at 43.84. Previously paid out 25 cents. Currently paying out 40 cents. So had you invested $4,384 into that position, they would have gotten you 100 shares. 100 shares would have gotten you a payment of $40.38. Next, we got AVGW, closed at 55.93, previously closed at 59.56, previously paid out 60 cents, currently paying out 77 cents. All right. So, had you invested $29,780 into that position, that would have gotten you 500 shares. 500 shares would have gotten you a payment of $383.35. Next, we got BABW, closed at 44.33, previously closed at 44.63. Previously paid out 43 cents, currently paying out 47 cents. Yes, let's go 47. All right, so had you invested $44,630 into that position, that would have gotten you 1,000 shares, and 1,000 shares would have gotten you a payment of $464.77. Next, we got BRKW, closed at 45.47, previously closed at 46.73, previously paid out 16 cents, currently paying out 19 cents. So, had you invested $23,365 into that position, that would have gotten you 500 shares. 500 shares would have gotten you a payment of $96.91. Next, we got COIW, closed at 26.60, previously closed at 25.76, previously paid out 18 cents, currently paying out 43 cents. So had you invested 25,760 into that position, that would have gotten you 1,000 shares, and 1,000 shares would have gotten you a payment of $433.08. Next, we got COSW, closed at 45.53, previously closed at 46.65. Alrighty, previously paid out 21 cents, currently paying out 29 cents. So had you invested $46,650 into that position, that would have gotten you 1,000 shares, and 1,000 shares would have gotten you a payment of $291.34. Next, we got GDXW, closed at 56.35, previously closed at 57.19. Previously paid out 43 cents, currently paying out 65 cents. All right, had you invested 114,380 into that position, that would have gotten you 2,000 shares, and 2,000 shares would have gotten you a payment of $1,301.37. Next, we got GLDW, closed at 52.91. Previously closed at 52.54. Previously paid out 23 cents, currently paying out 29 cents. So, had you invested $105,080 Did I say that right? $105,080. That would have gotten you 2,000 shares. And 2,000 shares would have gotten you a payment of $577.70. Next, we got GOOW, closed at 74.95. Previously closed at 76.37. All right. Previously paid out 72 cents, currently paying out 75 cents. All right, so had you invested $152,740 into that position, that would have gotten you 2,000 shares, and 2,000 shares would have gotten you a payment of $1,501.68. Next, we got HOOW. Closed yesterday at 64.07. Previously closed at 59.68. Previously paid out 53 cents. Currently paying out $1. So had you invested $596,800 into that position, that would have gotten you 10,000 shares, and 10,000 shares would have gotten you a payment of $10,024.23. Next, we got Meta. All right, closed at 37.22. Previously closed at 35.62. Previously paid out 26 cents. Currently paying out 35 cents. All right, so had you invested $35,620 into that position, that would have gotten you 1,000 shares, and 1,000 shares would have gotten you a payment of $346.16. All right, next we got MSFW, closed at 40.13. Previously closed at 41.01. Previously paid out 12 cents. Currently paying out 28 cents. So had you invested $2,050 into that position, that would have gotten you that would have gotten you 50 shares. 50 shares would have gotten you $14. All right. Next, we got MSTW. Closed at 13.55. Previously closed at 12.83. Previously paid out 16 cents. Currently paying out 25 cents. So had you invested $12,830 into that position, that would have gotten you 1,000 shares. 1,000 shares would have gotten you a payment of $248.81. Next, we got NFLW. 31.77. Previously closed at 33.15. Previously paid out 19 cents. Currently paying out 31 cents. So had you invested $66,300 into that position, that would have gotten you 2,000 shares. 2,000 shares would have gotten you a payment of $617.64. Next, we got NVDW 42.74. Previously closed at 42.29. Previously paid out 34 cents. Currently paying out 39 cents. So had you invested $42,290 into that position, that would have gotten you 1,000 shares, and 1,000 shares would have gotten you a payment of $389.48. Next, we got PLTW. Closed at 39.71. Previously closed at 37.06. Previously paid out 32 cents. Currently paying out 56 cents. So had you invested $74,120 into that position, that would have gotten you 2,000 shares, and 2,000 shares would have gotten you a payment of $1,109.59. Next, we got TSLW. Closed at 35.81. Previously closed at 33.61. Previously paid out 35 cents. Currently paying out 46 cents. So had you invested $33,610 into that position, that would have gotten you 1,000 shares. 1,000 shares would have gotten you a payment of $460.43. Next, we have TSYW. Closed at 48.89. Previously closed at 50.16. Previously paid out 16 cents. Currently paying out 15 cents. All right, so had you invested $5,016 into that position, that would have been 100 shares. 100 shares would have gotten you a payment of $15.27. Next, we have UBEW 46.63. Closed previously at 43.84. Previously paid out 22 cents. Currently paying out 43 cents. All right. So had you invested 21,920 into that, that would have gotten you 500 shares. 500 shares would have gotten you a payment of $214.87. All right, this is YieldMaxMindset saying thank you. Thank you for stopping by, viewing this channel. All right, let's continue to get that passive income. I'm out.